Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's everybody's favorite princess here. And today I wanted to do a review to Hayley Williams' Petals for Armor album. Now, I know the album has been out for a couple months now, but I didn't hear it the first couple months that it came out. And then I heard it later and I just haven't been able to review it yet because a whole bunch of stuff came up. But I wanted to review it because I heard Hayley Williams do a cover to Drake's Passion Fruit song, and it was a really good cover, and it was like a nice mellow version to it. And I also was kind of curious of how she would sound on a solo project because of the cover she did to that song, and I felt like it was a really good cover, so it made me curious of how her solo project was gonna be. But anyway, her first song on this album is called Simmer, and I think it's a pretty good song. The song is about abuse and stuff like that went on in her family and a bunch of stuff like that. The song starts out with this nice synth and this breakdown of this voice thing she did. She did some breathing thing at the beginning or something like that. I don't remember exactly because it's been a little bit since I heard it. But she did something where she breathed heavily on the track and then she broke it down and made it into a rhythm, and I thought it was pretty cool. It was a little weird hearing at first, but then I thought as it later went on that it fit the track pretty well. And then once when the song starts, that's when she starts talking about rage and all this abuse that went on in her family. And then later during the song, it switches. I forgot to mention, she's singing really passionately with this, which I also really like. And it's over this calm and mellow melody that she's singing about this stuff, so I liked how that kind of fitted with it. But then later towards the middle of the song, around the chorus, the beat starts picking up a little bit, but she's still singing really passionately, and I think it worked really good with the song, the way she made it seem like she did it really well. But then towards the middle of this song, it takes this weird dark turn where it does this perspective of if the abusers that were evolved with the people in her family were the ones abusing her, and then later it turns to if the abusers were to abuse her kid, and then it gets super dark and she just starts talking about how if the abuser were to abuse her kid, that she would gut the dude and this crazy weird messed up stuff. But it's cool hearing her perspective of how she would deal with this if the abuser were to come into her life and then hurt her loved ones. And I thought it was a pretty good perspective of hearing on the song. All while that's all going on, it keeps the same beat over the whole entire time. Like I said, the beat did pick up a little bit, but it's mainly the same beat but louder, and of course it's produced a little bit more, but it's mainly the same beat, and I really like that, and how she kept the whole thing going on through the same beat throughout this whole song. I thought that was pretty good. But then her next song on the album is called Leave It Alone. Now, I didn't really care for this song, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like the song is pretty. I feel like it's a pretty mundane track, and the lyrics are pretty straightforward. And yeah, I don't really like it. The song is about losing a loved one, and she made the song have this broken and effortlessness, and that's how she wanted to write it, to give you her perspective of the song, so you could, or her perspective of the losing a loved one through how the song was written, and it's like a really clever ideal, but I feel like it comes off pretty boring, and that's really the main reason why I don't like the song. Like I said, it's like creative thinking, but it just like doesn't do it for me. Like, I know some of you guys that heard it may like it, but I honestly don't really care for it, and I don't really want to lie about it. So I feel like it's a pretty mediocre song to towards me, and I wouldn't ever listen to it on my personal time. But yeah, that's just my opinion. But then the next song, it's called Cinnamon. Now, this is one of my favorites on the album, I'm not gonna lie. The song has this really fun upbeat to it. It starts with like this weird voice like floating around when you're listening to it. And like the voice is going over this like weird synth, and the synth is just like stomping and everything in there. It sounds really weird at first, but like how on the first song Simmer, it sounded pretty weird hearing at first. It eventually did make you used to it. All the production on this album I would say is pretty good. I think whoever did the production for this album did pretty well. I know Hayley played some of the instruments on the album, but like the background production and everything else on the album I feel like is pretty well. So that is done pretty well. I'll give it that. Uh yeah, and then this song, it seems to be like some kind of metaphor for like when she like first moved into her first home, and how like all the walls were just like all white and empty. Yeah, and it seems like she's using that to like relate to you guys of like how she was like feeling at the time, and like that's like what I found on the song. Like, I didn't really get that at first hearing it, but like looking into the song, that's what I seemed to found, and I couldn't or what I yeah, I couldn't find like really anything else on the song. And yeah, like the song just seems really fun and upbeat. It's a really good song. Like I said, it's one of my favorites on the album, and I think it's still like a really good song because of the production and Haley's performance in it. And I couldn't really find a major meaning behind the song, but I feel like it was a pretty good song overall. The next song on this album is called Creepin', and this is another fun, simple song just like the last one. The song uses a metaphor for like a vampire, and it uses the vampire as like a reference of like how Hayley is just like sucking onto the memory of some dude. I feel like it's a pretty good metaphor, and I like it on this song. The metaphor is pretty like straightforward in this song, but I still feel like it gets her point out there. It's not used much in the song, but like it gets her point out there. And like I said, it's like a pretty fun, simple song, and there's not really much ounce to say about this song. And then her next song on this album is Sudden Desire, which I feel like is another pretty good song. And this one is a little bit more of a personal song. The song's about like her being afraid to get with a man because like her last relationship, or one of her relationships before this one, lasted for like 10 years, and then they broke off, and she felt like because of that she never was going to like love a dude ever again or anything like that. So yeah, I feel like the song has a pretty good personal level to it, and I like that on a lot of songs. That's like the main point of the song. The song switches back and forth between this like nice mellow beat to like this upbeat singy type of song. It's mainly just like in the chorus when it gets like really singy. Like the chorus is this really high produced part of the song. The rest of it is just like really mellow and groovy, and I really like that about the song. That's like what makes the song pretty good. And I think overall this is a pretty nice song. Like it's a pretty great song. I'm not gonna lie. But the next song, Dead Horse, I don't really care for this song. Like, the song has a fun sounding beat to it, like the majority of the songs we have talked about on this album so far. And it's like a fun song. Like, I could enjoy it maybe if I was just hanging around with some friends and it just came on and I wasn't really paying attention to it. But when I'm like listening to it and I'm trying to analyze it, I didn't really care for it. Like, the song is a little dumb and it seems pretty simple. The song doesn't really talk about much, and the lyrics are pretty simple. Like, the song doesn't really talk about much at all. Like, I literally don't remember much from the song. Like, I literally just listened to this album a couple days ago to try to get a perspective of it again, because it's been a while since I first listened to it. And within the last couple days that I heard it, I already forgot a lot about it. The only thing I remember about it was that it was a pretty boring song and that it had like an upbeat to it, that it was a song I could enjoy if I wasn't really paying attention to it as much and it was just something that was playing in the background. But other than that, I don't really find the song amusing at all. The next song on this album is My Friend, and this is another really simple and straightforward song. The whole song is just really a dedication to one of her friends. It's a nice, wholesome track. It's not something that you have to play all the time. It's not really something that I feel like you would only play like every now and then either. Like, I feel like a lot of people would, but I feel like this song is still pretty enjoyable for the people that listen to this song. Like, I don't think this is a song that I would skip if I'm listening to the album, and I don't think it's a song a lot of people would skip while listening to the album. But yeah, it's just a pretty straight, simple, wholesome song about her friend, and the song isn't really about anything else, but it's still a pretty decent song, and I'm not gonna lie about it. I kinda liked it, and it wasn't that bad of a song. The next song on this album is Over Yet. Now, Over Yet is a really great song. It has this fun, upbeat, like 80s aesthetic, like workout sound to it. Like, it has a bunch of like clearly in 80s influence on it, but it's like the good 80s sounding. It's not like that weird stuff that has like a bunch of synths and stuff on it, like once when the 80s like started getting weird. It has like a nice aesthetic, and it's just a pretty good song. I can't really say much else about it. Yeah, the song just seems really positive, and it seems just to be like a really motivating song to like bring the album up a little bit, because the majority of the songs on this album that we talked about have all been like kind of sadder and more personal songs. I wouldn't say any of them are like super sad, because like all of them, like I said, have a pretty good production to it. None of them really seem like really low produced that we have talked about on this album so far. But like for the most part of them, all of them have been like pretty personal and like light-hearted songs. So I felt like that was the wrong word to say. I don't know what I was really trying to say, but yeah, all of them just seem like really personal and kind of sad songs, sort of. But anyway, yeah, this song just seems to fit as like a nice motivating song to put the album up a little bit, so it's not just all uh You know what I'm trying to say. The middle of this song switches up to like a nice dreamy beat, and then it eventually goes back to the original beat. I like this little middle transition it does in the middle of the track. I feel like it fits pretty well. It only really does it for like about a minute, if even. Like it may just be a little past 30 seconds, but it does it for quite a bit of time, and I feel like it fits pretty well. It doesn't feel like it throws the track off a bit. It's just helps the track a little bit. And like I said, it's a pretty good track. Now the next song on this album is Roses, Lotus, Violet, Iris. Now this is a nice, really soothing song. The song seems to be about like woman empowerment or something like that. I couldn't really get like an overall meaning to it. It's like the song's just a really nice mellow song, and it just like kind of like puts me in like a trance when I listen to it. It's honestly, this is probably my favorite song on the album, even though it's like some woman empowerment thing. It's the song seems to be about like something about beauty or something. It may be a really feminine song, but I feel like it's still a pretty good song because of like how produced it is and just like how mellow and how like hypnotic the song is in general. Just listening to it, it's like sure to like put you in a trance if you like really like music like this and you're just chilling laying in your bed listening to it. And yeah, it's honestly one of my favorites on this album, even though the whole song's about like some woman empowerment stuff. But the next song on this album is Why We Ever, and this is another pretty good mellow song. The beginning of the song has like this vaporwave slash like synthwave sound to it, but then it turns into this mellow, like simple piano and drum beat kind of song. But that beat also really fits this song as well. Like once when it like switches, I feel like once when it switches, it also fits pretty well. Like I feel like none of the transitions in any of these songs are off at all. Like I think like I said earlier in the video, like all the production in this album is great, and I can't really talk crap about the production in this album. Like they're all really great. Yeah, the song seems to be about like her struggles with depression and like how to cope with them. That's all that I really was able to seem to find through the song. That's all that the song really seems to be about while I'm listening to it, at least. Like there might be more of a meaning to it, but with all the research and my overall thoughts that I've came up with while listening to the song, I've seen it seems like that's really all the song's about, but that's not a bad thing. It's a nice little personal song that you might not like really get the meaning to at first, but it's a nice song and I can't say anything bad about the song, to be honest. Now the next song is Pure Love, and this is another one of my favorites. The production and the song is just like really great and groovy. It has like this upbeat to it that really adds to the song. The song's about her trying to become like more intimate with someone, but she's still having herself like be afraid because of her past relationships and like how long her one relationship lasted before it just went downhill. But she knows that she like wants to enter a relationship, and I feel like this is another like really good song, and it's another really good personal song, and I feel like it has me it gets me to know a lot about the singer, even though like I this is my first time listening to like any of her solo stuff. I know she only has a couple solo stuff out, but this was my first project hearing stuff like that out. But then yeah, even with her Paramore stuff, like I haven't heard that many Paramore songs. I heard like a couple, and I like know like what the majority of their music sounds like, or at least whatever the time period that I heard around there was. Like I heard some newer ones too. I feel like just listening to those, I don't really get like who Hayley is, sorta, but like this song, I feel like it really helps me get to know who she is, and I feel like this is a really good song, and I feel like at this point of the song, like once when you finish it, you'll get to know like her more better. Like I feel like you'd probably like get to know her a little bit more before this song, but I feel like by the time you hit this song, it's like you know her pretty well. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I like that song. There's multiple reasons why I like this song, but I can't really go into all of them because that would take a while. But the next song on this album is called Taken. Taken is another nice, groovy, and upbeat song, just like the last one. The song is about her finally meeting some guy and her actually being comfortable around him. Like, the song still hints here and there about her, like, still being hesitant about it because of her past relationships and how they all worked out. But the song seems to be, like, more of her finally being comfortable with some guy. And this song, it's just a really nice song, and once again I feel like it really helps to get to know who she is as a person and an artist by this part of the album. And then the next song on this album is Sugar on the Rim. Now this is one I really don't like at all. Like, yeah, the other one I talked about that I didn't like, I said like I would be able to tolerate it, but this one I feel like it would be a little bit too hard to like try to get into it, to be honest. The song has this weird like electronic tone going to it. I don't really hate electronic music, but this one is like just really in your face and I don't really like it at all. And to be honest, it doesn't really fit with the rest of the album in general. Like, to me, the electronic music is just a little bit too much, and the chorus on this song just gets like really too repetitive, and like the song just gets really old really fast when I'm listening to it. Like, I can't really listen to this one. I'm not gonna lie. And like, when I was trying to break down what the song meant or what I feel like the song meant, like I couldn't figure it out at all because the beat in this song is just like so distracting because it's like so electronic and in your face that I couldn't figure out at all what the song was about. And I listened to it a couple of times and I just couldn't figure it out because the beat in this song is so distracting and in your face. I just can't really handle this song much at all. But the next song on this album I really like, and that song is Watch Me While I Bloom. Hold on, I spit on my phone a little bit by accident. I hope you didn't see that. But yeah, the next song is called Watch Me While I Bloom, and this is another really great song that I like. It's another one of my favorites. It's another fun, funky song, like previous ones on here. The song is about her blooming into a better person and her being comfortable, being like in her own body again, because a lot of this album deals with her having depression and a lot of this stuff, and the last couple tracks on this album all talk about her getting comfortable with herself and getting comfortable with people again. And this is one of the reasons why I like this album so much, is because it like explains so much about her. Like, the album starts off with like her just talking about like some personal stuff going on in her life and just like some sad, depressing stuff that she's been going through lately. And then towards the last couple songs on this album, it gets pretty happy and it like lets you know that she's in a more better and positive place now, and it's like one of the reasons why I like this album so much is because it goes from like such a light place or to like such a like happy place towards the end, like if you know what I'm trying to say. I described that a little bit bad. I'm sorry. This is my first review, so I'm sorry if I seem a little bit off in it. I'm just trying to get used to everything right now. But anyway, like I said, this is a pretty good song. It's one of my favorites, like the other couple. But anyway, the last song on this album is called Crystal Clear, and I feel like it's a pretty good song, and it's a nice mellow song, and it's a great song to end an album. And yeah, the song has a nice mellow tone to it, and the song seems to be like a metaphor for like falling in love or something like that. The song never really talks about falling in love in the song, but that's like what the song seems to be like a metaphor for. But anyway, it's a pretty good song, and there's not really much else I can say about it. But yeah, that's really all that I have to say. This was a pretty good album. Overall, I would give it like a middle 7 out of 10. I wouldn't really give it a light 7, but I also wouldn't really give it like a strong 7. I feel like it kind of deserves a strong 7, but I feel like there's other albums I listened to this year that I feel like are pretty better than this album. So I'd say, yeah, it's like a middle 7 out of 10. And yeah, that's all that I really gotta say about it. It was a pretty good album, and if there's any more albums that you guys would like for me to check out, please leave them in the comment section down below. The only ones I won't listen to are like country and metal albums, and or like opera or like Jesus kind of albums. Those are like the only ones I won't listen to. I won't listen to like any music by like artists that have dissed Eminem or uh artists Eminem has dissed before besides Royce da 5'9" and Pink, because I like I really like both of those artists. I think both of those artists are pretty good. But other than that, yeah, I wouldn't review any others that he has dissed or any others that have dissed him. But yeah, like I said, if you have any albums you want to recommend me that aren't one of those things, just list them in the comment section below. And I'm sorry if this part of the video looks a little bit more different. My phone ran out of storage, so I had to record this last part on my other phone. So yeah, until next time, bye. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, any other review I do from now will probably be on my other channel, which I will leave a description to, which I will leave a link to in the description below. So until then, bye.